Hi everyone, Esther here from Estherastrohealing. Thank you so much for tuning to my channel. Today's video I want to dedicate to Saturn. As all of you remember, Saturn enters last year sign Capricorn. And the Capricorn, it's very familiar to Saturn because the Capricorn represented by Saturn. A couple of things I want to mention about Saturn, which is really, really important for us to remember. You know, Saturn is the gas giant. And it's take really long time for Saturn to retrograde and get from one sign to another. It's about roughly about 2.5 years. So if you calculate every 28 years, we have opportunity to work on a certain sign every time when Saturn change. It's change as well relative to us as well. Saturn in natal chart represent energy of your tikkun, of your correction in a sense. Because when you see somebody's chart, according to Saturn, I can say many things about current life correction tikkun, according to previous life incarnation. And Saturn, extremely important planet. What is really Saturn? How for us to really to understand the Saturn? Saturn is the planet, really planet of restriction, planet of discipline. Saturn really came to help us to understand things on the righteous level, really on a truthful level. So if usually the first part of our life, Saturn giving us hard lessons in order for us to understand and learn, and then we can greatly benefit from Saturn as well. So when you look at Saturn really from Kabbalistic perspective, we can see that Saturn been given name Shabtai. And what is as well, Saturn represent Shabbat, Saturday. So this is the huge, because if you really think, what is the higher and the bigger than Shabbat? Nothing. It actually says that no holiday can overcome Shabbat. So every week we have Shabbat, we have Saturday, we have tremendous energy, opportunity to connect to our soul, to work on ourselves in order to activate the higher of selves inside of ourselves, right? So the Saturn really, a lot of astrologers try to make something from Saturn, like really scare people from Saturn. But if you really think, Saturn represents our best interest. It's like you decide to go to see a guru, and when you study from guru, you not question, you completely trust and understand. So Saturn is like a good teacher, good guru. He's giving you homework. He's required of you to really follow up, to be on time, to be truthful, not to manipulate other people. What you say, it's exactly what you think, your intention. So if you really think Saturn, it's one of the best planets we have, because if you really know how to work with Saturn, you can work on your tikkun. What is the tikkun? Your correction. It's one of the main things we can. Because according to Kabbalistic astrology, when you take a chart, two major things you need to look at the chart. It's number one, your south and north node, which is really important. It's represent where your soul came from, what's as well the life lessons. And Saturn is the grandfather, like a really caring, strict grandfather who really wants you to finish your tikkun, to work on yourself. And therefore, you need to really learn how to work with that. I will go through all 12 houses, because right now Saturn in Jupiter in full retrograde. So when they're in full retrograde, they actually losing the power in a sense. For us, they affecting us even more by being closer to us, because every time when planet retrograde, it's not just it's moving back, it's actually getting closer to us. So this is the great opportunity. Now, one thing we need to understand, last year Saturn moved from which sign? From Sagittarius. What is the Sagittarius? We were required for the last 2.5 years prior to Saturn moved to Capricorn to understand how to study, what is the spirituality, what school of thoughts we want to connect, right? So this is what the Sagittarius is mainly about. Now, as soon Saturn moved to Capricorn, it's different ball of game. It's pure karma. And it's only 1 in 28 years. So I don't want us to waste the time and opportunity until next April 29, 2022. This video is very, very relevant. So I really recommend for you to check your chart. You can stop my video right now, go to the link below. I provide the information where you can go and calculate, check your, according to Sidereal Babylonian system, not according to Western astrology, because we deal directly with the sky, really astronomy, what's really happening in the sky the moment of your birth. And many times the sign you think it's not necessary because it's lost 23 degrees. You remember one of my videos, and as well under my video, I have this information. So I wanted to go in and check what really you're rising according to sidereal system. And then according to the rising, we're going to check exactly where the Saturn right now until next April, and use opportunity for you to really take this seriously and really work on it, because it's on your will. Saturn has ability to give miracles. We always say this, Jupiter, Jupiter, it's really the planet always giving us so many blessings, more than we actually deserve many times. But Saturn only gives us what really deserves, and this is the best, because what is the difference between to win $1 million or actually to plan the business, to work hard, to overcome so many difficulties in order for you to make this $1 million, but through your own talents, through sleepless nights, through so many things you need to overcome. So it's a big difference, right? Not to underestimate definitely Jupiter. As we know, one thing is what I want to mention. I always compare Saturn and Jupiter to two schools of thoughts, of Hillel and Shammai. And those of you who are familiar, and if not, I do recommend for you to maybe Google and to check. It's really amazing. Those two big giants, tzaddikim, righteous souls, live at the same time. And they always have a discussion, interpretation of spirituality. And they had different school of thoughts, but they always have a same mission in order to help people to elevate the consciousness, right? And this is really good for us to remember that. Now, as you can see on the Shammai, on his forehead, you can see it's in Hebrew, it's called tefillin. Tefillin, which is men put every morning except Shabbat in order to pray. And there's a whole system about, a lot of books reading about. But the reason I brought this to your attention, because what men have here in the forehead, you see the square, this is actually Saturn. So we need to ask ourselves, how come Saturn being used every day, daily, plus Shabbat, in order for us to connect to real truth, to real consciousness, to pure of understanding of the creation. So Saturn is really amazing, and it's really, I recommend for us to connect to the Saturn, to his energy, and to understand Saturn purpose in our chart. And I'm going to discuss houses, and as well, each house represented by certain sign. So you can use this video as well, not just for the period of time until next April. You can actually check in your natal chart as well where the Saturn, what sign is represent, and then you can check what the house I'm going to talk, what sign as well. So you can check not just according to your rising right now where it is. You can check as well where the Saturn in your natal chart, and to understand better this energy. What else I wanted to tell you as well? What really important to remember about the Saturn energy in your chart, it's we are soul before we return. Each time we return to Malchut, to this dimension, we ask actually to return many times, because our soul so high and see no limitation when we're close to Creator, right? To collective consciousness. So when we are sent back again and again and again inside of our body, we forget what we knew. But with the energy of our natal chart, because our soul choose exactly the time, the moment of the birth, and as well family and a country we're born, in certain environment, social environment, emotional environment, and lack of things. It's exactly what's missing to our purpose, to our to complete our Tikkun process. So Saturn, one of the most important planets, I can't stress enough. So I hope you will benefit from this video and you will enjoy this information. Don't forget to subscribe and to put like only if you feel you benefit from this information. And I'm looking forward right now to connect to each of you through your rising sign. Let's Let's begin.
Dear Cancerian, the Saturn transit since last year until next year, April 29, is going to be in your seventh house. It's really, really important house. It's we all, because you're rising, if you're rising in Cancer, your moon in Cancer. The first house, it represents ourselves, and it's always facing the seventh house. So seventh house is one of the most important houses we have really to work. And remember, because Saturn takes really long time to transit from one sign to another, it take up to 28 years to back again to the same position. So right now you have amazing opportunity to work on a couple of things and blockages, which is can open a little bit different reality of the relationship. Let's first really analyze what does seven house represent. It represent marriage. It represent in general partnership, one-on-one relationship. It represent business partnerships, your clients, the legal matters as well. It's a different type of islands for conflicts as well, by the way. And it represent your interpersonal style, your equality, and the way how you share. And as a Cancerian, many times you guys waiting for other people to give you love because you love is really important for you. Love and good environment and to have someone who really understands you deeply. But this is going to be a little bit challenge for you because the cosmos require from you not to wait for someone to love you, to actually start to give unconditional love. And when Saturn transit in the seventh house, you can experience some issues in your existing relationship and have to face whatever it's come up, and not just to face, really to face the reality and not to close yourself and disappear, to do the professional disappearing act like you guys really know how to do the best. With all due respect, you're so amazing. You see, you use your intuition and you see so many good things, but one of your main things as a rising Cancer and moon Cancer, it's really relationship, really to understand how not to wait for other person to give it to you, to always to be there unconditionally. And the problems that arise are meant to help you to improve your relationship, to strengthen you, to make you stronger, to realize what is really foundation of relationship, what is really makes relationship. It's not just the only moments when it's comfortable. It's the moment when other person really need you and you need to get to understand him in his own shoes. And your partner will know that, they will understand, and some relationship really need to go, because if the relationship not working and you really did your best, again, if you did your best, it's really important as well to know how to let it go. So this period of time, it's really important. It's not easy to start new relationship because Saturn would require from you to work on current things, how, and if you're starting relationship, see how you can change your approach, learn from what's happened in your past and your previous relationship, see where you didn't really, you were not available, so to say, where, see where you may be needy and you made your partner feel sometimes too alarming, because we have to understand the other people as well when they beside us, and when we sometimes too needy and we feel too many things, the other partner start to be a little bit too alarming, right? Now, in with regards to partnership in general in the business as well, it requires of you to take different approach, to be stronger, to be more realistic, not to use too much feelings, to be in different type of reality, to understand when you run the business, it's important to use your intuition, but at the same time, it's really important not to create, so to say, extra movie when it's not necessary. Okay, after this transit, you will feel so strong. You will see, you will feel different type of foundation. And we're right now in the middle. Remember, Jupiter right now in your eighth house. Eighth house is the house of total transformation. So for you concerned, it's not easy period of time, but so liberating. Because after this period of time, imagine Jupiter in 8. I'm going to put link for you so you can watch my other video when I explain what's happened when Jupiter transit in 8th house. It's house of Pluto, it's house of Scorpio, it's house of total transformation, of deep understanding, house of sexuality in relationship as well. And the seventh house, it's the really amazing pathway for you to understand your own self, who you are when you're with other people. Because when we're on our own, it's one thing. But when we're with other people, this is when they pushing us to understand ourselves better. So it's very important transit for you. If you're gonna apply your spiritual tools, your patience, your real love, unconditional love, you will see unbelievable results. Because when we give extra, we receive extra. This is how law of universe work. And every time you feel a little bit out of zone, especially when it's full moon coming, right? You consider and feel full moon more than any other sign. You can meditate on two letters, which is create sign of Cancer. It's Tet and Half. So it's really important letters. You can see them right now, and it's going to help you with your transformation as well. I wish you a great journey, Cancerian, and all the best. Many blessings. Bye bye.